Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for having me. So my name is Sindiso Khumalo, and I'm a textile designer. I am from Durban. I'm a Durban girl. Woo! Shout out to Durban. And I currently live and work in Hackney in London. So basically, just a little background about me. I studied architecture, and it's wonderful to be back in Cape Town, because actually this is where everything started for me. I studied architecture at the University of Cape Town. And after graduating, I went on to work at David Adjaye's practice in London. It was there when I realized that I actually started cheating on architecture for fashion. Was more interested in what I was going to be wearing that day than what I was actually going to be doing. So I spoke to my mother, who had always said to me, as long as I do something sensible for my first degree, I could do whatever I want afterwards. So I went on to do my MA in Textile Futures, and at St. Martin's, our MA was really focused on thinking about the future of textiles and future applications of it. So this brings me to 6 years after graduation, and I'm now been running my own practice for about 2 years. And I like to describe it as a series of love letters. So Zulu love letters. What is that? A Zulu love letter is a beaded message that Zulu maidens give to their lovers as part of the courtship. And for me, the work that I produce is a love letter between myself and my ancestry, and looking at the inheritance that they've given me. It's a past, future, and present conversation I'm constantly having. Today, I will present to you 4 love letters. 4 love letters, 4 Zulu love letters about my work. Okay, so the first love letter is about creating a blueprint, taking from the imagery of my cultural Nguni culture and pulling out a blueprint, a motif that I can work with. I got married 3 years ago, and I had a traditional Zulu wedding, and I had amazing beadwork that was given to me from my grandmother, my mother, and some of it we got from the local market. And from that beadwork, I pulled out this motif on our left-hand side. And for me, once I pull out a motif, that becomes then the reference point for the designs. So here you can see the motif used in the skirt, and like a big thing is just playing around with the scale. So, you can just take one thing and then play around with the scale, and it becomes 2 very different things. So there's a motif as a skirt on our right-hand side, and then on the left, blown up really big, and it's a sort of really big suit pattern. This is using the exact same motif, but completely different collection, pulling out different colors and putting black behind it, and getting just a completely different aesthetic just by pulling different things out of it. Again, here's the motif in her earrings, played around with a bit, cut out into perspex, and a few more images of that's the suit I was talking about, using that. So a lot of the references still doesn't look like beadwork, but it comes from that beadwork, the Zulu beadwork. This is another piece I did. It's an engineered print, and it's engineered to the garment. And again, looking at Zulu beadwork. Actually, this was more influenced by the Victoria Market, Street Market, and all the different Art Deco type buildings in there. And again, here, pulling out the beadwork and putting it into a structural garment and using motif, again, within my language. Cool. So the second love letter is one about craft. And I was very lucky to be invited by Ravi 2 years ago to do a design competition, which meant I came to the Design Indaba 2 years ago. And I went down to the expo, and I met a wonderful NGO called Africa Ignite, and we've had a really wonderful relationship ever since. We've been collaborating on projects together. What Africa Ignite do is they work with women in rural KwaZulu-Natal, and they basically create economies with So they'll basically have like beaders and knitters and weavers and lots of people all in these rural areas and partner them up with people like myself who'd be interested in collaborating with them. So I got introduced to Sindiso Khumalo, and Bettina is a master embroiderer. She has a Zulu technique of embroidery that she's then taught to other local women around her. And what we did was we collaborated on a series of t-shirts, so using my prints, my color palettes, and bringing her embroidery work into a sort of contemporary setting. So these are the t-shirts we collaborated on. And so these are all hand-woven, handmade pieces. And if I go back, this piece was featured in the British Financial Times. And that was a really important moment for me, because it actually meant that I could take that. We got a lot of press for this, but it meant I could take the article to Bettina and for her to know that now, in 2015, her hand is relevant and her hand is valuable. And I think it's something I really want to try and push, is more collaborations with people within indigenous, rural communities, just to bring the value of the hand back into a contemporary setting. The next love letter is a project I did with a company called Open Desk, and it's quite nice. Open Desk are a group of designers based in London. My friend Johnny, who I met to David Ajay, asked me if I could come and collaborate on a furniture unit that I'm going to show you guys. And again, pulling back, the same motif I spoke about earlier, we produced a stool and table unit that would be, just leave this over here, a stool and table unit that was basically inspired by these two little people. On the left is my boy, and on Kaya, and then on the right is Edie. So we called it the Edie stool and Kaya table. And how open source work is they have a digital platform where all these designs are available. So the platform is global, but all the making is local. So everything that's been designed is available to print out and make locally, like here in Cape Town. So with our stool and table set, you would get something like this. And it's almost like an Airfix model set. And you would basically get your husband or someone to saw off the pieces and end up with a little stool for your little person. And yeah, so just more pictures of the table and set. Great. So I'm a serial collaborator. I love collaborating with people. I find it really exciting as a designer, but also I think if you are young and starting out, it's so important to kind of pool in resources. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who I partnered up with for all the different projects that I've done. And then I want to talk about my last love letter, which you will now see. And this is my next collection, which world premiere, first time everyone's going to see it. So yeah, no, so it's my next collection, and it's just a conversation on memory, and so memory and history, and basically a lot of the prints are white on white prints. So it's almost the idea that there used to be a print that used to live on the garment, but then it's no longer there. And yeah, thank you very much, and this is my next love letter.
Warm slung, warm slung, warm slung, warm slum, warm slum, snake. Warm slung, warm slung, warm slung, warm slung, warm cat, warm slum, snake. Big things, big things, big things, big things, big things, big things. Check. A little cool cat, shut up. What up? Warm